How Parks in Elementary Schools Affect Your Health by Hadija Najai and Tanya Ambrose. The community design is what we chose for the content area. The indicator was access to parks in elementary schools, and the measures were the percentage of children aged 5 to 9 living within a half-mile of a park, and the percentage of children aged 5 to 9 living within a half-mile of a public elementary school. So some of the health effects include less toxic fumes and air pollution, more road safety by having signs and people that help children cross the street, and increased physical activity for those who live near parks and those who also live near elementary schools because they can use the playgrounds when school isn't in session. More social engagement, the children can make more friends, and parents can also interact with other parents, and reduce childhood obesity, which also is contributed by the physical activity. So on the national scale, we can see here that the southeast region of the United States has a smaller percentage of children who live near parks and elementary schools, and part of this is because of the unequal educational funding that southern states received, and also there are more rural areas in the south and in the southeast United States. Okay, so here's a closer look at one particular state, which is Georgia, and as you can see, the metropolitan areas like Atlanta in the top left corner, those children live closer to public elementary schools, and the areas that have less populations and smaller populations are the rural areas where not as many children live, and so there wouldn't be as many parks, or there wouldn't be a use for as many parks in elementary schools. Okay, here are just a few pictures of some parks that are in Georgia. Bethesda Park, that's in Lawrenceville, which is further up north in Georgia. And then we have Centennial Olympic Park in Atlanta, which is a more metropolitan area. And then we have Burdett Park in College Park, which is further south, but it is still in the region of Atlanta. And then here we have some elementary schools that are in Georgia. Alfred Elementary School, also in Lawrenceville. And then Sally Zetarower Elementary School in Statesboro. And Statesboro is about 3 hours away from Georgia, and it's further down south, and it's more rural than Atlanta is. So although it's a large school, its population is still not as high as the schools that are further up north in Lawrenceville and Snellville and Atlanta. So some improvements that we could make to rural areas would be less deforestation, therefore there'd be more greenery and more opportunities to create jobs, and more funding from the state that could help more funding from the state to help build more schools in areas that don't have as many children, and more job opportunities to bring more people to those rural more job opportunities to bring more people to the rural areas so that there can be more parks and elementary schools that are built there, and create more opportunities for the children as well to learn and grow in a healthy environment. And here are just some of the references for the slides and the information that we used in the slides.